there, and welcome to Take 5 Challenge. I'm Henry Perez Alonso, and this is Take 5 Challenge, the CAMS edition, the California Aquatic Management School. I'm so excited to be here today to talk to a couple of groups and let you know kind of how this thing started through connection, through people that knew each other, through people who saw a need. I'm excited to talk to my guests here, some of the OGs of everything that's going on. I've got Margaret, I've got Ann, I've got Mike. They're all going to be here. They'll be right back to share their story, share kind of how it began for them, but really for giving an opportunity for us to see how something starts. How do we get something started in our profession? And we're just going to have a little bit of chat. We're going to take 5 and we'll be right back to talk with you. But first, I want to thank CPRS and the Push to Play Network, as they are our sponsors, and they are what get us going to have this Take 5 Challenge, which is about connection, which is about us sharpening each other. As iron sharpens iron, we will sharpen each other, and we will be that much better as professionals. So when I come back, we're going to be taking 5 with some OGs from CAMS. Welcome back to Take 5, and I'm so excited, like I said earlier, about my guests here today because we get to talk a little bit about the past. So we're going back to the past and then into the future, something along those lines. But with me here again on the Take 5, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, I have these special guests. Please introduce yourselves to the 2 people that are watching.
Hello, I'm Ann Delaney. I'm the Community Services Director for the City of Venetia.
I'm Margaret Glomstad, the Park and Rec Director for the City of Burlingame.
And I'm Mike Dobson, and I am Parks and Rec Director for Cosumnes Community Services District.
So the cool part here is that we've got some bigwigs today, right? But if, looking at these 3, and it's not just these 3, because there's a few others that were involved, but I really want to take you back, let's say 25 years, because this is what we're doing here. And like I mentioned a little bit earlier, this is CAMS, right? So it's Take 5 CAMS edition. And here we are at the California Aquatic Management School, which is 25 years old now. But there was a time before the Aquatic Management School. Can you guys take me back to the inklings and maybe the beginnings of, hey, do you remember this thing even being talked about or starting or anything like that? Like, how did it bubble up for you and where you got involved in this thing?
Happy to take a stab, but tell me if I'm wrong. You know, what was interesting is we'd go to CPRS and they'd have 1 or 2 sessions and we were all heavy aquatics. And it's like, we need more than they can give us. And that's what I remember as kind of the starting point.
And also, there was a very strong BAPOA, Bay Area Pool Operators Association in the Bay Area with, incredible leaders, Jim Wheeler, Robin Toussaint, Joe Siraki, and many, many other OGs. And we would sit at BAPOA saying, few people were lucky enough to go to NRPA, right, but most of the people could never go out of state. So they were hearing these incredible speakers and they were like, how can we bring that to California and locally? That was kind of my beginnings of the fruition of this.
I think it really started with the fact that NRPA maybe once every 3 or 4 years only came to the West Coast. So a lot of us from the West Coast in California couldn't go to NAC or NAMS at the time. And literally BAPOA, we all sat around and talked about, could we do that as a kind of state kind of school? And that was, I guess, the genesis of it.
That's pretty interesting. What I love too is that we have first off, it's the people, right? We're all here. We're all part of CPRS, but then it's like, wait a minute, there's something a little bit deeper that we know we need at that time. So 25 years ago, what were actually the roles that you were in then? Or do you remember?
So I'm trying to think. I think we were all kind of in charge of finding speakers because we couldn't pay speakers. So if you were on the committee, you either had to find a speaker or you were a speaker. And then I did sponsorships and maybe the raffle or something else.
But even in your agency.
No, where were you?
What were you doing in your agency?
Oh, my agency. Okay. So I was starting as a recreation coordinator with the city of Concord at the time. I went from being part-time and then I went full-time September of 99. So I was 2 months in and my boss was like, hey, we all decided we're going to do something. I'm not going to do this. You're going to do this.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah, I was an aquatic supervisor at a special district. before everyone at this table knew what a special district was. Now you're at one, Mike.
I was the aquatics. I was freshly out of college, stingers up, Sac State. And I knew nothing about aquatics, and I got thrown into it. And I was at a small senior community in Walnut Creek called Rossmore, and I heard about BAPOA, and I was desperate to learn and meet anyone in the industry that could help me. And it was like a godsend because I found people that could help me. And from there, I was able to work my way through BAPOA and CPRS and work with the team on CAMS.
I literally forgot that you worked at Rossmore. Like this whole time, I've always thought of you with the city of Venetia.
Cheers.
Yeah.
So that's fun to see, because I wanted to kind of take it back for that 1 second, right? It's like, where were you when this thing started? Where were you when those inklings started and kind of came about? So one voluntold, right? So how? So that kind of, I'm in. Okay, I guess. And then what about you two? Like, how did you get pulled into even the planning, or how did it go from someone sparking the idea to, yes, I'm in?
Yes, I'm in. I was so young and excited about the profession, and to come across a group of people at BAPOA that were similar in age, similar in their careers, I jumped at any opportunity to do anything with these people because they were always a phone call away, and they were so willing to help. You know, Jim Wheeler took me under his arm because we found out we grew up in the same neighborhood, and he introduced me to people because I was a little shy back then. And so they asked, I didn't know anything about aquatics, right? So I took on more administrative duties at CAMS. So I did name tags and the binder. And I was like, I will do anything just to be involved so I can learn.
You know, I think we've just all loved aquatics too. Even though you were new to it, we loved. I mean, it was a passion for us. I never thought I'd leave aquatics. I mean, honestly, it was that cool. And I think we all got along, and we wanted to do something more than we were able to get with what was out there. And so I think sometimes you just have to jump in with both feet. And if you have a team and people you can rely on, we all have different strengths. It was not one person who was responsible. So it makes it easier to do something new when you have, there's a group of you and somebody will lift you up or help you if you need help.
So that's really cool. So that's a good reminder, because I think about this when I was thinking about how do we talk about this? What is it? And there's got to be a spark that happens. There's got to be a need. You guys all saw the need. Then there's got to be the people that say, okay, bubble up, I'll start doing it. But then someone has to take the lead at some point. So I want to ask who was that in your minds? But then the most important part is that at some point you come together, and it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what your title is, and you have to put something on. So who would you say, just in that, and if that sparks a thought, go ahead and talk, but also who's the one that was the actual, I don't know, spearhead, let's say?
This is where your younger memory comes into play because
I think for me, I would have to say it largely fell on Chris Chamberlain. I forget where he was in his aquatic section presidency, but I feel like that was kind of right around that time. And for those of us that have known Chris and are really good friends with Chris for the last 25, 26 years, when Chris gets involved and puts his mind to something, forward motion's going to happen. I think from Chris, it probably trickled down to like Dro Shiraki from Hayward, Robin Toussaint from Hayward, Jeff Tarpley from Walnut Creek. As Ann mentioned, like all of the like super OGs that kind of either took us under their wing, like the Barbara Selways for me, or were somewhat involved to make sure that it was successful. But I think the people that were probably the founders of BAPOA and to help found the aquatic section were the ones that I remembered. So
I completely agree.
That's good. I love that. I think what I'm hearing is there was so many. There's so many that sharpen and tip that, sharpen that tip of the spear, which is cool. And then I'm also sitting here watching you guys talk, and I don't know if you guys know this or feel it or recognize it, but to some, you are the OGs. To some, you are the ones that, you are the ones that people are looking up to and name dropped because of the folks that have inspired them to do something. How does that feel to you when you kind of have to live with that one 25 years later. It's like you may have been in a different spot, but now you're here.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna cry.
You just called me.
I love
I
it.
don't
I
know.
will. I will
Oh,
take that. I think that
Season.
for you to say that, like, that's the greatest, like, honor of my career. Like, I love this profession. I have made lifelong friends. If I inspired someone along the way, that is like a dream. I mean, that's just a dream come true. And I think I take that honor very seriously. And I want to continue to inspire people and tell them, yeah, go for aquatics. Aquatics is an amazing career. And I've been on that. I've been preaching that because we're creating like nurses and doctors and firefighters and police officers and first responders. They're just amazing, amazing young people. So I feel very honored to have been on their journey along the way.
I think we've all enjoyed making a difference.
Yeah.
You know, and we've been lucky enough to make a difference in a lot of people's lives. And I think we're still doing it just in a different way now.
Yeah.
Right. But that's what we all went into this profession for.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with both of them. While I've shaved my head and my beard, it's because there's a lot of gray hair, so I'm well aware that I'm one of the old heads that are here at conference. But I'm thankful for people like Barbara Selway, Jim Wheeler, Chris Chamberlain, who helped me out, and I've always tried to give back. I remember at CPRS one year, Charles Jordan once said, as we climb the ladder of success, we must do so with one hand, thereby leaving the other hand free to lift somebody else up with us. And I think that's what we've all tried to do during that time. So I think I'm honored to know that if I could have helped someone in their career or their path or to help push this conference forward, that means a lot. So
I just want to let you know that you just fully gave me chills on that one. I thought that was super cool. I mean, because it's true though. It's like we think about it, and I connect myself to you guys because yes, we're seasoned now, whether it be gray hair or whatever you want to call it. But I think that there is this thought that we didn't do it alone, so we should not, continue to do it alone. We need to make sure we're bringing up the next generation, which is amazing because what you all did 25 years ago. Again, I want to reset it. You saw a need, you came after it, you came together, and then all of a sudden this thing came about. This, California Aquatic Management School, right? Otherwise known as CAMS for those of you keeping track. But what is the thought for you guys that it is still here 25 years later? Does that even can that settle in and think about that? And that's where we're at. We're sitting here as about to embark on the 25th years. They're about to start with their opening session, but we're sitting here talking about the beginning. But how do you feel about this? How does it make you feel?
I think for me, it's honored. I remember, so I was fortunate enough to be the section president in its 5th year, where it was we didn't know if we would make 5 years. So in making it to 5 years was a huge accomplishment. I think we felt after we made it to 5 years and it was going to keep on going, that it would keep on going. But I guess I never really thought I would be here 25 years later talking about me as a year-old, early on. So I guess it's just kind of awe-inspiring that what we've done is, and what we helped start is still going 25 years later.
I think what I find very nice, good going on is it's still happening because there's a group of people that are still willing to step up and do it.
Yeah.
Because this just doesn't happen overnight. And there's so many different facets. You still need a team. So there's still people out there passionate about aquatics, having a need, and seeing it and trying to fulfill it with, the most current things that are happening today in aquatics.
Yeah, I think the leaders all along the way for all 25 years, all the people who stepped up to be CAMS leads have been amazing. And I think as agencies, like I support all things CPRS, but especially CAMS, because they can get so much as an aquatic professional out of it. And seeing my staff come back or hear that they met some incredible people and to see what I went through 25 years ago still happening, it's just wonderful.
Hey, Henry, can I ask my fellow OGs a question? I'm just curious for both of you. Did you ever think it would get to a point where there's 100, 120 people, there's multiple tracks for newbies, for seasoned people. Like I think when it was 40 and 50 people, and when we got up to like 60 to 80, I was like, oh, we're hugely successful, right? I don't know if I ever quite envisioned that it would continue to grow as much as it did.
Oh, see, I didn't think that far ahead back then. just trying to make it go, keep going.
Well, and I think coming from the perspective of not being in aquatics, never being a lifeguard, knowing when there is that group of supervisors that get it on their plate and think, what is this? And then to find out the magnitude of health and safety that you have to know in aquatics, that from my perspective, I knew this was essential in our CPRS for California. I think it's incredibly important. And so I only see aquatics. It's vital. It's so important. So I think how cool that we're a part of something that I think will be here for a long time.
It should be here for a long time, and you guys should be very proud of how this goes, and just recognizing, I mean, please bask in the glory, if I may. So, and really, if you think about it, because you're gonna go see it. You're gonna go see what 25 years later looks like today, right? Go enjoy it and see what that does, and know the impact that you've had. That's, I think, sometimes that as we maybe grow older or seasoned, did we really make an impact? Did we really do something? They always tease that, I think it was a Ronald Reagan quote that said, something about the Marines. The Marines never have to know if they made a difference. They just are making a difference. Sorry, just a plug for Marine Corps. But looking at all of you guys too, it's the same thing. It's like, whether or not, you should never have to ask, because you can look back on 25 years and go, yes, I did that. Yes, I was a part of that. And I think that is huge. And for anyone else who's seeing a need within our profession, I mean, I'm hoping that they take and get some inspiration from this. Is like, it's not easy by far, to be able to do this, but you have to take that first step, right? You have to take that first moment of recognition of what is needed. And then how are we going to, fill that need in whatever facet that it is. And who knows, maybe 25 years later, it's going to be something that, continually helps people.
I think it's hard is if everybody's in different places in their career and where they want to end up, right? I didn't probably think that far ahead back then that I wanted to be a director, because I was in a special district. So cities just were not kind of a thing. And it's okay wherever you want to be in your career and where you want to stay. But if you want to move up the chain, then you have to put yourself out there and do something that might fail, because if you can't do that, it's really hard to move up through the ranks and be really successful at it. So get out there and try something new. That's what I would say.
And something that you both have mentioned that really is sticking with me is like those people that put their arms around us and really said, welcome, and I'm going to help. And, everyone from Joe, and God bless Robin, and Jim Wheeler, and Chris Chamberlain, and Greg Avakian, and Barbara, and all these people that reached out to us and said, you can do it, and we're going to help you. And that now that we want to do the same for our colleagues, I think it's amazing to be a part of a profession that cares so much and wants to pay it forward.
I am just in awe of all of you, and just recognizing, even in my career, when I had aquatics, and yes, it's true, I was also a lifeguard once, but just knowing how impactful that was, and knowing that there were people out there that were willing to help, whether it be, to help run a class for me, because I didn't have that certification or what have you. And when you bring up Robin, I remember like us calling Robin, having her coming over and doing a class in Mountain View for us, so that we can be up to speed and have what we needed. But it really was that whole BAPOA, that whole, aquatic section was always, as you said, open arms and willing to bring somebody in. And that's also kind of the cycle of training, right? It's what you do all the time to make sure you're ready and prepared for that, eventuality of when you have to act upon your skills. And that is what you guys did right off the bat to make this thing happen. And I think that that's kind of cool, that the legacy now is serving us well, serving the profession well, and serving the state well, which I totally dig. And I just wanted to say thank you guys for that. Just to kind of, as we wrap it up, any last thoughts from you guys for, let's say, the next group that's going to be thinking of whatever their school is or whatever their need to fill is? I'm just going to give you, let people ponder on that one.
They just do it. Of the Nike saying, because if you don't do it, it might not ever get done. Right? You just got to jump in there, try something different.
And I think recreation professionals, we're pretty receptive. So don't be afraid. Like, I think we're all willing to like give something a try, and we like new things and we like change. And so I say, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I think we all continue to be learners. We're all sitting up here as directors now. I learn something new every single day. And I think that only comes from either ongoing skill development, ongoing core competency development, or ongoing education and training. So to anyone watching this and curious to do something in a specialized field or start that training, like with all of them, just go ahead and start doing it. Find a bunch of other people that also have that passion. And the one thing I've learned in my career in recreation is when you get a group of people together that have passion about something, anything is possible.
Can I add to that? That was beautiful. I don't mean, but
Oh, no.
we had fun. We had so much fun. So don't be afraid to have fun. While it may be a serious subject, which aquatics is, we never had so much fun. To this day, we still remember all the laughs along the way, and there was just many and great memories. So don't be afraid to have fun, because it is a lot of fun.
If you have fun, you keep doing it.
Yeah, it keeps rolling. That's why it's 25 years later, right? It's probably one of the best schools that I've been to over the years, and I still enjoy it because it is absolutely that. It is serious. You play hard and you learn hard. So I think this is kind of great. I just want to thank you guys again for joining me and taking this time to connect and kind of rehash the old and bring us back from the future and back into here to what's next. Hey, when I come back, I'll have some final thoughts and on all the things that we just talked about and connected about. And again, for those of you watching, these three, where can they find you if they want to get a hold of you?
City of Burlingame.
Cosumnes Community Services District.
And the city of Venetia.
All right, so connect with them. They'll tell you what it's all about, and they'll, I know, as always, willing to take 5 with you if you need so. So we'll be right back, and I'll have some final thoughts. So thank you.
Yay. Thanks, Henry.
Cool. That was. Hi, and I'm back after a really, really cool conversation with some of the originals, the OGs from CAMS, with Margaret and Ann and Mike, and just really having an opportunity to sit with them and chat a little bit about how they got CAMS started. More specifically to me is what I got from them is that there's this this need that was seen by some professionals, right? And then they talked about it, they connected a little bit to share what they felt the need was for each other, specifically with the aquatic section and the aquatics folks that were in here. And then they said, you know what, not only do we have a need, not only do we see this happening elsewhere in the nation, we want it to happen here, right here in California. So a band of folks, a band of merry folks came together and put this California Aquatic Management School together just to help each other, just to be the person who shares and teaches with each other what needs to happen in this particular profession, right? More specifically, at the end of the day, they put something together with hopes that it would, carry on with maybe struggles that kind of came through with growing pains. But 25 years later, to be back and thinking about what they did and how they did it and how many actual lives and people they have impacted because of it is amazing. And I'm just so proud to have been able to speak to them and kind of hang out with them and take away really understanding that if I see something and I recognize a need, it's okay for me to step in and try and fill that need, or get people together to come together to step in and grab that need. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you enjoyed the chat that we had. Thank you to CPRS and to the Push to Play Network for, putting this on for us. This is the Take 5 Challenge, and I challenge you to take 5 and sharpen yourself with somebody else. Find another professional, connect with them. Take 5 minutes a month, at the very least, to just, talk about where you're at and what you're going through in your profession. And I promise you, you will be that much better for that connection. So we will see you on the next Take 5, maybe another CAMS edition. See you soon.